Okay. Okay. Apparently there is no caster to game transition, so I think I was just staring blankly at you guys for like 30 seconds. I hope you like awkward, because I'm full of it. Anyway, down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have our red Terran player for Endurance Esports. Their name is EJK. And in the bottom left, we have our Team Ascension player. They're in the purple. They're playing Zerg, and their name is Darling. Now, the immediate question I have is, will Darling go for a quick cheese? But we already have an answer from EJK, which is going for a proxy 2 racks. Proxy 2 racks in the middle of the map. It's difficult to do these proxies on a 4-player map, but this is what I personally like to call the Maru proxy, because I just remember Maru so many times on Merry-Go-Round going for this proxy that's just like between all the possible spawning locations. This isn't quite the same because it is a 4-player map and not a 3-player map, but EJK has got to be, they're going to be pretty happy with the spawning location of Darling, because this is the closest location to their proxy. So the gamble will pay off in that sense, but we'll see if Darling does have anything to defend against it. The hatch does go down before the pool, so it will be a little more difficult to defend. And the other thing to note is that this proxy is not on any of the common overlord paths, so it won't get scouted very, very soon either. It will likely only be scouted when there are Marines in the base of Darling. Or if EJK throws down a bunker right now. But no, just makes it seem like a normal scout and then throws down a bunker out of vision. So we're gonna even have like a bunker leapfrog action going on here. And there's the second bunker getting ready to go down. 2 queens are in production, but no lings so far. There's a very small bank of larvae at the moment too, so Darling's gotta be careful with how he engages this. Transfers a bunch of drones down to the natural, but those aren't going to stay there for very long because there are Marines inside your base. And 2 lings do pop out, but this hatch is almost certainly going to go down. Just going to be used for a bit of extra production. This queen will come out. The queen's going to try to march up the ramp, but it's just going to get sniped immediately. Oh, the queen does escape for now. Will it live, though? No, it does not. The queen goes down, but these lings do start to pick away at those Marines while they're away from the bunker, but we're just reaching this critical mass of Marines where lings can't really do that much, especially with 3 bunkers on the low ground. Like, I see no way that this hatch is living at the moment. There is a spine in production on the high ground, but that's not going to save this. We even have a 4th bunker in production as well, so this is hyper aggressive from EJK. So many bunkers. Oh my god, this is just so many bunkers. God. Okay, the broodlings do try to target down that SCV building the bunker, but it's just the SCV gets helped by some lucky RNG where it moves to the other side of the bunker while constructing it. And even this Overlord will live, I believe. I don't think those can see it up there. Okay, so EJK going for the definition of a hard contain. We have how many bunkers here now? 7 with 2 more in production. Okay, so this natural, EJK is saying you are not allowed to take this natural ever. Whereas Darling is gonna once again go for banelings and try to bust bust his way out of this. I'd almost rather just see him tech up to a lair and go for a Nidus, because like this is such a huge commitment to bust down with Banelings. There are 9 bunkers there now. Now, does Darling know how many bunkers there are there? Darling knows there are a lot of bunkers, not quite the extent of it. But it's gonna take a huge commitment to bust down those. And even if you do start rolling Banelings in there, once you bust down those first 4 bunkers, the last 3 will just get salvaged before you can do anything about it anyway. So with this, EJK is floating the barracks home, and now can see the overlords on the high ground. So going to take advantage of that. But also building 2 CCs at home, so EJK is going to have a massive economy behind this, while still keeping Darling stuck on 1 base. And Darling's just continuing to build a lot of Banelings. And this will be busted, but it's gonna take a huge investment. I just don't know if it's worth it. Okay, here comes the bust. Baneling's gonna hit all these bunkers. And the bunkers do go down. They're gonna try and be salvaged. That one gets salvaged. This second one will be salvaged. This one's for sure gonna die, but there are still units in it. And Darling does bust through that, but it costs so many Banelings. And not only that, but just the time that Darling's been stuck on 1 base, the relatively low drone count. I mean, the worker supply is equal, but Darling does not have mules. And now Darling's just going to walk over here and see that there's a pretty nicely set up Terran base over here. And, you know, it's not like when you bust a proxy and they've got nothing at home. There's 3 CCs in the main. There's a lot of production. There's also a Banshee on the way, which Darling is just not really prepared for. The lair is in production, but there are no spores. An Overseer will be ready by the time this comes, if Darling does scout it immediately. But it's just a really rough situation. Really rough situation. The queen count is also not really that high. Like, how many queens are out on the map? 2. 2 queens. And you really want to use these queens to deny the Banshees until you can get something like Mutas out. Now, Darling is doing a good job of being annoying with this small clump of Lings, but with this many Marines out, you just can't stay on the map. But Darling does get the scout of that Banshee. So anytime now, an Overseer should be started. Anytime now. There we go. Overseer is started. So this will be ready just about in time. But there is only the 1 queen here. Spore is not finished, so this Banshee can even just, you know, focus down drones. How many kills is this gonna get? Already got 5. It will get out of here, but that can just go be repaired and come back to be annoying another day. And losing 5 drones when you're already, you know, when you're already in a position where you're on 1 base until the something like 11-minute mark is not the ideal situation. So Darling does go to build this spire. Gonna try and do some Mutalisk harassment. And if anything, just to be able to really shut down these Banshees. With one Overseer and a Mutalisk, they're pretty much, you know, their expiration date has come. Now, one thing Darling does have going for him is a pretty nice creep spread. So it's getting out past the 3rd towards another 4th base location he could take. But the Banshees are just continuing to be annoying. Darling now down workers to EJK. And significantly down in supply as well. Now those Lings, they tried their best, but there's no way they're getting through that wall, especially with tanks, Banshees, and Marines ready to greet them. So with these mutas in production, mutas should be able to at the very least buy some map control back, deal with all the Banshees on the map, and give Darling a bit of breathing room, sort of hope to stop EJK from moving out immediately. But EJK is building up this pretty healthy biomech force. We got Thors on the way, we got a few tanks, we got Marines, Hellions, Vikings. It's just a nicely put together ball of Terran ready to destroy this Ling Bane muta composition. Oh, nice spotting of these Hellions by Darling. Gonna pick off a few of those, even sneaking around to catch these while they make their way home. So all these are gonna go down. So that's a nice pickup. I mean, Hellions aren't the biggest investment from our Terran player. It's kind of just a mineral dump when you're going mech, but taking out anything for free is always a good position. Darling is really gonna have to buy himself some time here, because I mean we're against a meching Terran, Zerg versus mech Terran, and the Terran is 40 supply ahead. That is just a dangerous situation. So Darling will try and use these mutas to just do some harassment, keep EJK back in his base, and also taking out that refinery is really nice for him, just because gas is the limiting resource for this mech Terran, so being able to slow down the production will help quite a bit. I'm a little surprised after seeing all this that Darling has continued to make the melee upgrades instead of switching over to ranged ones, but they're gonna have to deal with this push. So it's a pretty hefty push out from EJK. Got a lot of Marines there, some Thors, Vikings up in here, and they do take out that third base. So Darling's already in a pretty rough position. Gonna have to use this Roach Bane to connect with all of this bio and the Hellbats. Here we go. The Banelings roll in, they're gonna connect with a lot of the bio. Thors tank a few shots, and the Roaches are gonna get on top of the Thors now, so the Roaches need to try and take all this out, but I think there might just be too much Terran here. There's nothing to do with the Banshees, nothing to do with the Vikings, and there's even reinforcing siege tanks coming in here. Now this Banshee is just going to town, taking out all kinds of stuff. I mean, that Banshee itself already has 18 kills. And now EJK is back in a containing position on this natural, and it will once again go down. Now there's a lot of corruptors out for Darling now, but they don't do anything about the units on the ground. Drones have to be pulled. They're going for those tanks and the Thor, but drones just don't do very much damage to a mech army. And I think this is just GG. There we go. EJK takes game 2, ties it up. So we'll be going into a game 3. This is a very, very interesting game we had there. I mean, obviously we had the 9 bunker contain on the natural, which is not something you get to see every day, but still pretty awesome. So yeah, we had the 9 bunker contain. We got to see a meching Terran that didn't stall the game out, which is another nice thing to see. And we're going to get to see a game 3, which is an amazing thing to see because we get to see more StarCraft. So we'll be going into our third map, which is on Terraform. One of our, I wouldn't say like one of our most standard maps in the map pool, but one of our more popular maps compared to something like Bridgehead. Moonlight Madness. So yeah, with Terraform as the next map, can't say I'm too surprised to see that. And it's gonna be a good match. So we got game 3 of EJK versus Darling. Winner of this will go on to the winners match. Loser of this will drop down to fight again in the losers match. And we got a whole bunch of good StarCraft for you today. So not only do we have this series, but we also have TeebuL versus Believe. So TeebuL and Believe will be going up after this, and then we'll know, what our winners match, what our losers match will be. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you throw a follow to the RSL, and make sure you're ready to watch this next game because we got Terraform, EJK, and Darling. Game 3 of a very intense series. We've already had 2 cheeses. Will we have a third? Baneling Bust, Proxy 2 Racks. What will be the cheese of the third game? Or will we just have something standard?